The arena in Kissimmee, Florida, on April 24, 2021, hums with raw electricity, a sea of faces illuminated by the glare of spotlights slicing through the haze. The crowd's anticipation is a living thing, a pulse that throbs louder as the fighters. Entrances loom. EMANUEL NAVARRETE, the WBO featherweight champion from Mexico, strides toward the ring, his lanky frame cutting an imposing silhouette. His eyes, sharp and unyielding, betray no hint of doubt, only the quiet confidence of a man who's ended fights with devastating finality. Opposite him, Christopher "Pitufo" Diaz, the proud Puerto Rican fighting out of the USA, bounces lightly. On his toes, his compact build coiled with energy. His gaze is defiant, a man carrying the weight of a nation's hopes, determined to dethrone the champion. The HD cameras capture every detail, the sheen of sweat on their brows, the flecks of muscles under taut skin, the flicker of intensity in their eyes. The commentators, perched high above the ring, are already in full swing, their voices crackling with excitement, cutting through the roar of the crowd like a well-placed jab. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a night that's gonna set the boxing world on fire. The first commentator, a veteran broadcaster with a voice like polished oak, booms. We're leaving Kissimmee for a featherweight title fight that's got it all: power, heart, and stakes as high as they come. EMANUEL NAVARRETE, the Mexican knockout machine, defends his WBO crown against Christopher Diaz, the gritty challenger who's never backed down from a fight. His partner, a former fighter with a gravelly edge honed by years in the ring, jumps in. Navarrete's a freak of nature, those long arms, that awkward style, and a punch count that'll make your head spin. But Diaz, he's got the heart of a lion and the skills to match. This is going to be a war, folks. The bell rings, and the fighters explode into motion, the canvas trembling under their feet. Navarrete, all angles and menace, stalks forward, his jabs snapping out like a whip crack, testing Diaz's defenses. Diaz, nimble and precise, weaves under the first flurry, his feet dancing across the ring as he fires back a crisp counter right that catches Navarrete clean. The crowd erupts, a tidal wave of noise. What a start! The broadcaster shouts, his voice barely containing his excitement. Navarrete's coming forward, but Diaz is showing he's not here to play. The second commentator leans in, his tone urgent. Look at Diaz's footwork. He's slipping those punches, but Navarrete's got that reach advantage. This is going to be a chess match early. Navarrete eats the counter, but keeps pressing, his long arms pumping out jabs and hooks from impossible angles. Diaz ducks, bobs, and lands a sharp left to the body, drawing a grunt from the champion. The round ends with both men trading blows. In the center of the ring, neither willing to give an inch. The arena is electric, fans chanting, Mexico and Pitufo, in a dueling chorus as the fighters return to their corners. Round 2 is where Navarrete's unorthodox style begins to shine. His punches aren't pretty, they're wild, looping, almost chaotic, but they land with bone-jarring force. Diaz, caught off guard by a sneaky uppercut, stumbles back, his eyes flashing with surprise. He recovers quickly, firing a 3-punch combo that snaps Navarrete's head back, the crowd roaring in approval. Diaz is showing he belongs. The first commentator yells. He's taking Navarrete's best shots and firing back. The second voice chimes in, but Navarrete's output is unreal. He's throwing punches like they're going out of style. The champion's relentless pressure forces Diaz to the ropes, where he covers up, absorbing a flurry of blows. Diaz's defense is tight, but the sheer volume of Navarrete's attack is overwhelming, and the round ends with the challenger breathing heavily, his corner barking instructions dot by round 4. The fight's rhythm is clear. Navarrete's suffocating. Aggression against Diaz's technical precision and unyielding heart. Diaz's face is starting to show the tall red welts bloom under his eyes, a cut threatening to open above his brow. Yet he digs deep, landing a vicious hook to Navarrete's ribs that makes the champion wince. "That's the Diaz we expected," the broadcaster exclaims. "He's hurt, but he's fighting back with everything he's got." The crowd chants, "Pitufo, Pitufo," as Diaz slips a wild right hand and cracks Navarrete with a counter left that draws a gasp from the arena. Navarrete, unfazed, responds with a barrage of punches, his long arms a blur of motion. "This guy's a machine," the second commentator marvels. Diaz is landing clean shots, but Navarrete just keeps coming. The round closes with Diaz pinned against the ropes, weathering a storm of leather, but his eyes burn with defiance as he trudges back to his corner. Round 6 is a pivotal moment. Navarrete lands a brutal uppercut that staggers Diaz, his knees buckling for a split second. The crowd senses blood, and the arena shakes with their roar. "Oh, that hurt." The first commentator screams. Diaz is in deep trouble now. Diaz clinches, his arms wrapped tightly around Navarrete's waist, buying precious seconds to clear his head. The referee breaks them apart, and Diaz, fueled by pure grit, fires a desperate combination that catches Navarrete off guard. "What heart from Diaz?" the second voice roars. "He's hurt, but he's swinging like his life depends on it." Navarrete, grinning through a smear of blood on his cheek, keeps pressing, his punches relentless. The round ends with Diaz's corner working feverishly, splashing water on his face, shouting encouragement as the swelling around his eyes worsens. The middle rounds are a grueling test of endurance. Navarrete's pace is inhuman, his awkward angles making it impossible for Diaz to find a rhythm. By round 8, Diaz's right eye is nearly shut, but he lands a stunning 3-punch combo jab, cross, hook that rocks Navarrete back on his heels. The arena explodes, fans leaping from their seats. "Diaz is still in this," the broadcaster shouts, his voice hoarse. He's showing the heart of a champion. Navarrete shakes it off, his long arms snapping out jabs and uppercuts in. A relentless torrent. "Navarrete's not human," the second commentator says, half laughing. "How do you stop a guy who throws 1,000 punches a fight?" Diaz's counters are slower now, his legs heavy, but he refuses to fold, the crowd chanting his name as he survives another round. Round 10 brings the first knockdown. Navarrete catches Diaz with a looping right hand that lands like a sledgehammer, sending the challenger crashing to the canvas. Down goes Diaz, the first commentator yells, the crowd on its feet. That was a monster shot. The referee counts as Diaz, dazed but defiant, drags himself up at 8, his eyes glassy but burning with resolve. "Unbelievable toughness," the second voice cries. "Most fighters wouldn't get up from that." Diaz stumbles through the round, ducking and weaving, his instincts keeping him alive as Navarrete pours on the pressure. The commentators are in awe. "Navarrete's a predator right now," one says. But Diaz is showing why he's a fan favorite pure heart. Round 11 is a brutal display of Navarrete's dominance. Diaz, battered and exhausted, still swings back, landing a weak left hook that does little to slow the champion. Navarrete's punches are a storm, pinning Diaz to the ropes, his head snapping back with each blow. Diaz is running on fumes. The broadcaster shouts, "He's got nothing left but pride." The crowd roars for their underdog, chanting, "Pitufo," as he refuses to quit. Navarrete, blood trickling from a cut above his eye, grins wickedly, sensing the end. The bell saves Diaz, but the commentators know it's only a matter of time. "Navarrete's closing in," one says grimly. Diaz needs a knockout to win this now. The 12th and final round is a masterclass in destruction. Navarrete unleashes everything, his punches a blur of power and precision. Diaz, his face a swollen mask of bruises, sways but swings back, landing a feeble counter that draws a cheer from the crowd. A massive Navarrete uppercut drops Diaz to one knee, the arena falling silent. Oh no, this could be it. The first. Commentator screams. Diaz rises at 9, his legs trembling, but Navarrete is merciless. A vicious combination left hook, right hand, uppercut sends Diaz crashing to the canvas again. The referee waves it off as Navarrete raises his arms in triumph, the crowd exploding in a mix of awe and heartbreak. It's over. Navarrete retains the title with a devastating knockout. The broadcaster roars. What a performance by the Mexican star. The second voice adds, Christopher Diaz gave his soul out there, but Navarrete was just too much tonight. The arena erupts as Navarrete's team hoists him onto their shoulders, the WBO belt gleaming in the lights. Diaz, helped to his feet by his corner, earns a standing ovation for his courage, his head bowed but proud. The commentators reflect on the battle. This was boxing at its rawest, the first says. Navarrete's a beast, but Diaz showed the heart of a warrior. A second agrees. Navarrete's a problem for anyone at 126 pounds. That pace, that power, it's unreal. The HD cameras linger on Navarrete, belt raised high, then cut to Diaz, embracing his team, promising a comeback. The crowd chants. Both names, a testament to the war they've just witnessed. The post-fight analysis kicks in as the commentators break down the fight. Navarrete's volume was the difference, one says. He threw over 1,000 punches Diaz couldn't. Match that output. The other nods. Diaz landed beautiful counters, but Navarrete's awkward style and relentless attack broke him down. Tough night, but Diaz has nothing to be ashamed of. The HD visuals replay the knockout in slow motion. Navarrete's final flurry, a symphony of golf. The commentators sign off. That's it from Kissimmee, folks. Navarrete remains the champ, but this fight was a reminder. In boxing, heart is everything. Good night.